I was wearing blacked out goggles. I was in a well under a mystery village. And yes, I said Luigi on national television. In this video, I'm answering the top 15 questions you've been asking me since episode 1 of Destination X. What were the goggles really like? Were the people in the town real? Did I lie to Josh? Am I a snake? I'll tell you what really happened in the coin challenge. How Mack got chosen to go up into the village. And what would have happened had I been in the map room? Where would I have placed my X? Stick around to the end because it's going to be juicy. All right, first question. Did I get to keep my goggles? The goggles, they're like an iconic part of this TV show. People keep asking, did I keep them? Are they a souvenir of mine? Nope, and I'm glad I didn't. They were bulky. Like, they were prototypes, I think, like 3D printed. Season 1. I'm sure they're going to get better if this goes into season 2, but they were super uncomfortable. I never want to see them again. All right, question 2. Were the people in the village real? Were they actors? Some people thought it was a set. No, they weren't actors. They were real. Totally fair question. I never even actually got to the village, so everything I know was secondhand from Mack, and now being able to watch it in episode 1. But yes, it was a real village, and those were real people. I think that added to the authenticity of the challenge, and they were told they can't talk. Like, let them come into your store. So the third question kind of deals with that. What was the Pinocchio shop's owner's reaction when Biggie knocked over the displays? It really was her store. She was the shop owner. But she was told you can't say anything because her Italian accent might give it away. So she had to sit there in the corner and watch as her store got ransacked by Biggie. It was a little embarrassing. I can't say I wouldn't have done the same thing. Looking for a coin and you're stressed, cameras are on you, but it was awkward. I really hope she was well compensated for it. Seriously. What were you wearing, Rick? I was wearing my Canadian tuxedo. It was a fleece-lined plaid shirt on the tarmac. It was like 100 degrees. It was way too hot. I was way too overdressed for the Italian summer. Like, we left in the north of Europe and we flew to the south. Like, it was fine when we got on the plane, but man, it was hot. Like, hiking boots. Who wears hiking boots and jeans and that? But it was the Canadian classic dad look that I was going for. It was a big fashion fail, and you can see I took off that plaid as soon as I got to the suitcase challenge. Whew. Next question. Were there any birds in that episode? Like, I'm birding with Rick. That's my superpower. Did the birds help me at all? Well, I remember looking around on the tarmac at the airplane suitcase challenge, and I did see one bird way in the distance. All I could tell was that it was blue and it was big. I still can't identify it. In the edit, you'll see a kestrel or the Eurasian hobby flying around the airport. I never saw that bird. I wish I had. But in the well, it was dark. There was no birds down there. I was hoping I was up in the village running around looking for birds, but that was just Biggie and Mack. And I didn't want to ask them, hey, did you see any birds when you were up there? Because that would have totally given away my superpower. Question 6. I was starting to worry. Is my birding superpower actually going to help me in this game? Are my birding skills going to be useless if I never get to see anything outside the bus? Yeah. Next question, 6. Were all the clues given in VR or virtual reality? I think what people are thinking is those goggles have a screen in them and it's virtual reality, like we're seeing something on the screen. No, that's not the way the goggles work. There's nothing. It's either they're turned dark so you can't see anything, or they're open and you see through them. That's it, on or off. So it's kind of cool that Jeffrey has a button and he can turn all of our goggles on or off. That's how he was controlling what we see. And all the clues, they were real. They were real clues out in the world. We were actually there. Yeah. Question 7. Do you need to be on location to play this game? Could we have filmed this in a studio in Hollywood? No way. There's no way. We needed the live environment. We had to smell it, touch it, look at it. We walked through it. We were actually in Europe. And you'll see in the future episodes, we really were there. Question 8. What was it like wearing the goggles? Well, let me paint you a picture. Everything's blacked out. All you see is the inside of the goggles. They were heavy. They were sharp, like it was 3D printed, so it was really pressing into your face. And we wore them for a long time. Like, it took 45 minutes to walk down into the bottom of that well. 8 levels deep, or 8 stories below Earth. And we had to walk like holding the person in front of you. And there was a handler on the side of each one of us. So we wore those goggles for hours with earplugs. We had headphones with the Destination X logo on them. So we couldn't see, we couldn't hear. It was sensory deprivation until we took everything off for that unique reveal every episode. Were the clues red herrings or were they helpful? Great question. Some clues were definitely misleading. Romeo and Juliet threw us off, right? Our team thought that meant Verona. Other teams thought it was Romeo meant Rome, Rome-E-O. Just the first part is Rome. So Romeo and Juliet points to Rome. Ty told me that later in the bus. That made me think, oh my gosh, their team is clueless. If they think Romeo points to Rome, that can't be a real clue. Would Jeffrey do that? I think that was a red herring. Well, let me explain how the clues work. See, in this game, there are free clues and there's earned clues. A clue that everyone sees in a challenge, that's a free clue. That's where Jeffrey will throw you a red herring. Now, in this specific game, those coins, those were the earned clue. That's only the team that won got to see them, so those are not going to be misleading. Those are going to be really hard clues, but they're going to lead you in the right direction. They were misleads. If you ever watch the other Destination X seasons in France or Belgium, you'll see some really big red herrings. We'll see if that happens in this show. Next question. What would have happened if I went into the map room? Well, luckily my team won, and we got to put 4 of their players in the map room, and they only put 1 of our players, and they chose Rachel. I'm so thankful. Had they chosen me, I probably would have gone home. I really did think we were in Milan. Our team, we all convinced ourselves Milan based on like so many things. We were driving for days, 3 days of driving. A lot of that was edited out. But imagine 12 hours of trying to track where you are in Italy. Right? And I remember going up a mountain, my ears popped, and then we turned around and my ears popped again as we were going downhill. So my mind was, where's all the mountains in Italy? And that's way up north. That's the Southern Alps. That's where we are, right? We landed way up north and we did a lot of driving, but we stayed up north. So Milan kind of made sense. I would have placed my X there and I would have gone home. Game over. No more Rick. 1 episode and you're out. Glad that didn't happen. Did I lie to Josh? This is a big question. The edit makes me look like I did lie, that I'm shady, don't trust Rick, I'm not trustworthy. But no, I was trying to be helpful. Remember, like, I was playing my friendly dad vibe. Good night, kids. And then like when Jonah said dad, when he called me dad, and I made sure everyone knew that, like I made a point of that, that was the character I was playing, the friendly dad. He had just won Big Brother, and in my confessional I said, look, he's smart. I want to team up with Josh. I wasn't trying to lie to you. And you can tell our whole team thought we were in Milan. Rachel put her ex really close to Milan because that's what we thought. Now, we see now in the show edit that Mack thought we were in Rome, and she was letting us all believe Milan, because she was, if she had to, she was going to pick Rome and she was going to be safe. But no manipulation, just admiration and honesty for Josh. Sorry you went home, bud. Next question. What if I hadn't helped Josh? Did my input matter? Well, yes and no. See, his team thought they were in Rome, but he didn't trust them. He had some doubts. When I said Milan, that persuaded him. But he also, earlier in the show, he thought we were in Pompeii at the footsteps of Mount Vesuvius. So he was a confused cookie no matter what. I said Milan, and he trusted me for some reason other than his teammates. So if I hadn't helped, his ex might have been way off anyways. Question 13. What are some of the behind the scenes of the coin challenge? Help me out there. Well, the challenge, it looked chaotic on screen because it was. Right? Rachel and I ran up first and we saw like 200 to 300 coins in front of us, and they all had matching images that we had to put together. And it was the odd coin which was the answer. So for us it was the grapes, and we put that in the basket and it was right. So when we went back down to our team, we told Kim and Jonah, who were going next, look for the oddball coin. Look for the oddball coin. And they didn't listen to us. Like, they looked and looked. It was a 10-minute head start that Biggie had, but Mack made up for it. So it was like Kim and Jonah, they weren't great at listening. They weren't great at following directions. That challenge showed me a lot of who's actually paying attention. And then the Jesus instead of Juliet, Kim, come on. I expected a little more out of you. Question 14. How was Mack chosen as the one that went up and got to see the town? What a huge advantage Mack got. Of our whole team, she was the only one that got to explore the town and see clues of where the town is in Italy. Well, we chose her because she volunteered. She said she was team captain. She wanted to do it. She'd already been outside when she won the first challenge. And I wanted to volunteer. Because I'm like, I'm fast. I'm smart with puzzles. I think I can do this. But I didn't want a target on my back that early in the game. She definitely saw something. I know she saw something about the town, and she kept it to herself. Smart move. Question 15. Do you know who the Ninja Turtles are? This is embarrassing. When I saw that, I couldn't even remember saying that in the show. Like, it was a blur. Yes, I know the Turtles' names. I'm a kid of the 80s. Of course I know them. I said Luigi. Look, we were brainstorming. We were going fast. I was just listing off Italian L names. I don't think I'll ever live that down. And now I look like I'm a pulp culture idiot on national TV. And honestly, it looked that way. Yeah. There you have it. Everything I can tell you for now. I'm so ready for more. I can't wait for episode 2. If you've got more questions, throw them in the comments. Or if you're part of my Patreon, put them in the Q&A and I'm going to answer your questions. If you're watching this on YouTube, head over to my Patreon. We got a whole community there where we're talking about this episode and all the future ones. Trust me, it gets even wilder.